So when it was confirmed that the OnePlus Nord would be the first mid-range device from the firm since the OnePlus X, our impressions were suitably shifted ahead of time, but with that said, here's our early on impressions. Thanks for watching 9to5 Google on YouTube. Remember to thumbs up, hit subscribe and enable notifications with the bell icon to be among the first to watch our upcoming videos. So cutting through the marketing jargon and the Indeed hype, the OnePlus Nord is a mid-range phone with a few flagship traits. At £379 or around about $480 with exchange rates factored in, our very short hands-on impressions probably going to suggest to you that the OnePlus Nord is going to be a great buy for anyone not fussed by having every single bell and whistle on their smartphone, but don't obviously want to sacrifice the overall software experience. You'll likely know plenty about the device thanks to the sheer mountain of leaks and teasers ahead of launch. We've actually never known a mid-range smartphone launch with quite this much hype and interest, or at least that we can remember. It's actually pretty impressive given that the OnePlus Nord is unlikely to head to North America. However, there is hope in a potential small limited beta sometime after launch, and having spent a short amount of time with the OnePlus Nord, these are our first early impressions. So first up, let's talk specifics. The OnePlus Nord is in the middle of the pack when compared to the average 2020 upper mid-range or flagship smartphone. This is the first OnePlus device to come with a non-800 series Qualcomm Snapdragon processor too. Those of you worried about performance, there's no need, as the Qualcomm Snapdragon 765G is a fantastic mid-range chip that performs to similar levels as a Snapdragon 845 found in the Pixel 3 series. There's also either 8 or 12 GB of RAM, which should stand you in good stead for a long time to come if you do happen to want to purchase it. I have to say, it does feel good in the hand. It has really good balance. The plastic side rails aren't instantly noticeable, but unlike metal, when you pick up the phone or clasp it, you'll notice the edges are not cold to the touch, and this is a telltale sign that it isn't metal. By no means though is this a big problem, but it was one of my first impressions when unboxing the OnePlus Nord. At first glance, the OnePlus Nord in the candy blue marble colour does look entirely like it's made of plastic, but the glass at the rear and solid feel instantly puts you at ease. There's no hollow, cheap feeling in the hand, which was a worry ahead of time, especially when OnePlus said they were going to make an affordable phone. The OnePlus Nord also comes with a 6.44-inch AMOLED display tuned to 90Hz. It's a really nice panel that gets bright and has good colours. I think the biggest bonus is that the OnePlus Nord has a flat display rather than a curved display. Is it the best I've used? Well, most definitely not, but it does put many other sub-$500 equivalently priced devices to shame. One other thing to note is the inclusion of an in-display fingerprint reader. It's fast, accurate, and as good as any previous models from what I can tell so far. It's quite a shift from a physical fingerprint reader, which is often a common fixture on similarly priced smartphones too. There is also the first dual punch hole notch on a OnePlus smartphone here too. It's a lot larger than some earlier renders suggested, and it might adjust how you view your videos for the most part, but you can easily forget that it's there. Of course, notch haters will likely disagree with me here though. Viewing angles of that display seem to be good so far, which is often an area where LCD-laden smartphones seem to stutter or suffer. Having an AMOLED at all for under £500 or $500 is also a really nice addition, and it especially enhances that experience so much more than an LCD. One thing to note is that the OnePlus Nord does ship with OxygenOS 10.5, which doesn't leave any nasty impressions at all. It's the exact same streamlined and slick experience we've come to know and love over the past 5 years. The only thing I think that really feels different from the outset is the elongated punch hole notch in the upper left. This seems to push some of the UI elements along, making that status bar feel a little bit cramped at times, and so deactivating some of those status bar icons does help alleviate this quite a fair amount. It's something I suggest you do. So far everything feels snappy with no hiccups or major slowdowns to speak of. Of course we're running pre-release software, which means the odd slowdown can creep in, but they're so irregular that it's not even an issue. That said, expect launch software to be as clean and slick as good old OxygenOS on all other OnePlus hardware prior. At 4150 mAh, the battery on the OnePlus Nord is a good size, but about what you'd expect from a smartphone of this type at this stage in 2020. That said, I am really pleased that OnePlus decided to slap in Warp Charge 30T fast charging, as it's something that sometimes is a miss on cheaper smartphones. My initial impressions suggest that the OnePlus Nord should be capable of withstanding a long day with ease, but again we must note, because this is our early hands-on, it's hard to truly measure until we've spent more time with the device. It would have been nice to have wireless charging, but it is an understandable missing feature this time around given the lower entry cost. We have to say at this stage, it's so far so good. We've only had a limited period to really sink our teeth into the OnePlus Nord, but our first impressions suggest that everything feels in place at this early stage. We'll have to really put the Nord through its paces in the coming weeks to give a proper verdict, but for now, it seems pretty good. The camera also seems to match up pretty well with the OnePlus 8, but seeing as though we're not able to share samples just yet, you just have to take our word for it until the full review. For those who are worried about a cheaper smartphone from the original flagship killer brand, well, you probably shouldn't be. While the OnePlus Nord probably wouldn't be confused for flagship, all is well so far, and in markets where it's available, it seems to be a very competitively priced smartphone at under £400 or $500. With all of that said though, if you have any questions about the OnePlus Nord that you'd like to see answered in our full review, by all means put them in the comment section below. But as always, until next time, this is Damien with 9to5 Google saying thanks for watching, and I will speak to you later.